Morning, folk. We're on Mathew 16. Going to miss Joy, who regularly listen to these messages, but let's remember the Jacob family at this time as they grieve the loss of Joy. Mathew 16, verse 1 to 12. And the Pharisees and the Sadducees came, and to test him they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. And he answered them, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. And the Pharisees and Sadducees, when the dark clouds come, they could see it was going to rain. And yet when Jesus came with all the different signs and wonders, it just created that bread from those loaves. He had just healed all those sick people. He had done many miracles, and they had seen many signs, and yet they did not believe. And then he says in verse 4, an adulterous and an evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign. This is the third time at least that he's mentioning that a wicked and adulterous generation seeks a sign. And signs and wonders is not what we seek. He said this in Matthew 16, verse 4. It also says, but no sign will be given you except the sign of Jonah. In Matthew 12 he mentions the same thing, and he says, for just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh will rise up at the judgment, and this generation, and condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Jonah. And behold, something greater than Jonah is here, and that is Jesus. And so Jesus is predicting his death, that he will die, and he will be buried, and on the 3rd day he'll rise again. And it's him that they need to seek. We seek first him, and the signs will follow. In Mark 16, verse 16, it talks about whoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Whoever believes in Jesus and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who believe. In my name they'll cast out demons, speak in new tongues, etc., etc. And so as we seek Jesus, we are born again, the signs will follow, but we don't seek after the signs themselves. So he goes on to say that they'll only see the sign of Jonah, that's his resurrection. So he left them and departed. When the disciples reached the other side, they had forgotten to bring any bread. Jesus said to them, watch and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And they began discussing it among themselves, saying, we brought no bread. But Jesus, aware of this, said, O you of little faith, why are you discussing among yourselves the fact that you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive, do you not remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000, and how many baskets you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000, and how many baskets you gathered? How is it you fail to understand that I did not speak about bread? Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. Then they understood that he did not tell them to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And so there's many false teachers. That teaching spreads like yeast through bread. It's quick, it's silent, but it destroys. And we need to be aware of it. We need to know that it's throughout even the church, and that teaching and lies causes much destruction. And so we need to guard the truth, know the truth, proclaim the truth, and make sure that we aren't going to be caught up in that leaven and lies. So that it also in Luke 12 he says, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. So not only is their teaching wrong, but they're also very hypocritical. They don't do what they say. They don't practice what they preach. And that's one of the things that we can pick up from these guys, is that they're very hypocritical.